Hello and welcome to Retrocognition, the show where we take a look at some of the best and worst in sci-fi and fantasy. I'm your host, the Retcog. Seeing as this is the inaugural episode, I thought I'd kick things off with something that has elements of both genres, something that takes a sword and sorcery tale and throws in some aliens. This is Krull. Released in theaters in 1983, Krull is an attempt at combining fantasy with science fiction, and tells the story of a prince trying to rescue a princess from an evil creature from outer space. So let's take a closer look, shall we? Our movie opens with... Wait, did I just put in Armageddon by mistake? This giant space rock is the Black Fortress, and will be the base of operations for our villain for this movie. Now everyone remember where we parked. We are introduced to Colin and Lissa, a prince and princess from two warring kingdoms who are engaged to be married in order to solidify an alliance between their two kingdoms to fight off the invaders.
I've chosen well.
So have I. I give fire to water. It will not return, except...
They start the wedding ceremony when suddenly... Guys, you do know you're supposed to wait until the minister asks if anyone objects, right? These are the invaders, referred to as Slayers. They rush Lissa to safety and... So the Slayers storm the castle, kill the guards and all the guests. While innocent people are being butchered left and right, Colin manages to get one of the stormtrooper wannabes and... What the hell was that? However, while this is going on, Lissa and her guards are ambushed and she's then taken prisoner. Colin tries to move in to save her, but gets hit and falls unconscious. He's found the next morning by Ynir, your standard wise man in these films. He tends to Colin's wounds and tells him of his father's death. He takes it well. Colin agrees to join with Ynir, who says he can help him find the Black Fortress and rescue Lissa. Well, I guess all that's left is to find some men, gather some weapons, right?
You will need more than men and swords.
Wait, what?
You will need the power of the glaive.
The glaive is nothing but an ancient symbol. It doesn't really exist.
It exists. Up there.
Don't worry, if it's there, I'll come back with it.
If you do not come back with it, you'll not come back at all.
Jeez, thanks for the words of encouragement. Colin makes his way up the mountain and into the cave where the glaive is said to be located. Ah, hot, hot, hot. Oh God, it burns. The rock falls off, revealing dude, that is awesome. Where can I get one that doesn't require putting my hand in hot magma? Alright, time to give this baby a test drive.
Do not use it until you need it.
Well, how will I know when?
You'll know.
You lead me to the Black Fortress, I'll use it soon enough.
It will not be so easy. With each sunrise, the Black Fortress moves. Sometimes it is in the mountains, sometimes in the desert, sometimes in the sea. Never the same place twice.
A lot of good you are.
What I told you is that I knew how to find the fortress.
What, are you gonna tell me there's some kind of seer? Probably a blind one, right?
And that is by seeking the vision of the blind emerald seer.
You win this round, old man. The two of them are taking a rest when...
Help! I'm drowning!
This might have been quicksand!
Oh, looks like we found our comic relief.
That rudeness, Stout. I think I'll turn you into a bat.
Bring it.
No, that's a recipe for hot fudge sauce. Oh well, it'll have to be a goose. Fat and ugly.
Ooh, what are you gonna do? Help me save money on health insurance? Just who the hell are you anyway?
I am Ergo the Magnificent. Short in stature, tall in power, narrow of purpose, and wide of vision.
Yeah, okay, sure. Whatever you say. Our trio enters a rocky pass when they get jumped by a gang of escaped prisoners, whose members include Hagrid and... Is that how I think it is? Holy crap, that's Liam Neeson! This movie's got a lot more awesome.
If the Slayers conquer Krull, your sons will be enslaved. Forever.
Colwyn and Ynir convince him to join them on their raid in the Black Fortress, and continue on to the Blind Emerald Seer.
Well, you heard him. We are now an army.
Unpaid army. You got a problem, Ron? Well, can't a man even talk to himself without being interrupted?
They ask the Seer to help them locate the Black Fortress.
Black Fortress. Where is it?
However, things don't go so well.
You all right?
Yes.
If you think that's bad, you should see what he does to telemarketers. They take the Seer and make their way to a swamp that has a temple where he can find the fortress without the beast interfering. Well, I'm sure they don't have to go too far, right?
The temple is at the center of the swamp.
What?
The temple is at the center of the swamp.
So you're telling me that everyone has to trek through...
The center of the swamp.
Oh, that's just great. Yeah, this is gonna go well. So as they make their way...
The center of the swamp.
Yes, we know already. As I was saying, they start heading in when they get ambushed by Slayers. Ergo is saved from some Slayers by a Cyclops who had been following them.
Hasn't he got a name?
His name is Rel. He visits the Seer sometimes. He doesn't speak much.
So I've noticed, except to be sarcastic to people who wish to be friends.
Or jest with those who already are his friends.
You've been with us for a long way now.
Since the beginning. When I learned that the old one had come down, I knew that the time had come.
Join us then. All men need company.
Yes. All men.
While that's going on, let's check in on the princess and see how she's doing. She seems fine to me. Back in the swamp zone, our heroes run into another problem.
Nano! Help him!
The ground. It's sinking. It is the power of the beast.
Link up! Make a chain!
But while this is going on, the seer is killed and replaced by an evil clone, apparently with the intent of getting close to Colin. However, our one-eyed friend who stayed behind in case they were followed makes a startling discovery. They reach the location of the temple, and Colin goes in alone with the duplicate while the Cyclops rushes to catch up with the others. The clone tries to kill Colin with his press-on nails when... Man, these things just don't go quietly, do they? Alright, so the one person that could help them find the Black Fortress is dead. And probably still lying face down in the muck. I don't seem to have too many options right now.
There is one who might help.
I'm listening.
Who? The widow of the web.
That creature helps no one. And none who go there return.
I'm with him. It may not be a good idea.
We all risk our lives on this journey. My risk is no greater than yours.
Okay. We'll do it your way. So they make camp while Ynir heads up the mountain to where the Widow of the Web lives. There's a lot of mountain climbing in this movie. Back at the Black Fortress, the Beast, who has taken on the appearance of Colin, tries to show Lisa that he's not that faithful to her by sending one of his minions to seduce him.
I've held a man in my arms since my lover left.
It goes about as well as you'd expect. So the Beast decides it's time for a performance review. Ynir finally makes it up to the cave where the Widow lives and makes his way across the giant web. Things seem to be going well until... Holy crap, that's a big-ass spider. Okay, I just need to stop for a minute here and say I love the effects for this thing. Now, granted, it does date the movie somewhat, and if this was made today, it would likely be all CG. But I like it because it has the same look and feel of a Ray Harryhausen film, which those themselves being fun movies to watch. And it gives an old-school charm to it. Anyway, Ynir calls out the Widow's true name, and she flips her hourglass, which makes the giant spider stop just long enough for him to get to the Widow. He convinces her to tell him where the Black Fortress will be, but there's one small problem.
But the knowledge is useless to you, for you cannot leave here. No man has ever escaped the web. These are the sands of my life. accept them and the spider will have no power to harm you. But your own life runs out with the sand.
What about your life?
I give it to the girl who bears my name.
I cannot stop the sand.
You cannot stop time. Go now. Save the other Lissa.
So Ynir uses the sand to stop the giant spider, makes his way back down the mountain, and the spider triggers a self-destruct sequence? He manages to get back to the camp to tell them what he knows. Before he dies, he gives a few last words of wisdom to Colwyn.
Use your power wisely. Do not squander it. With great power comes great responsibility.
The Iron Desert's 1,000 leagues from here.
That far, huh? Well, I guess you're screwed unless you can find a way to travel that far in a day.
Fire mares.
What?
Fire mares can travel 1,000 leagues in a day.
Well, I guess there's that, I suppose. They wrangle up some fire mares, which are just a bunch of Clydesdale horses, mount up and prepare to head out. Except for the Cyclops, who stays behind because it's apparently his time to die. So they say their goodbyes and ride out.
Each to his fate.
Each to his fate.
They race along a blue screen while setting entire wheat fields on fire. Well, I guess they can forget about getting a job with Budweiser after this. They make it to the Black Fortress and start climbing, only to be forced to take cover as Slayers open fire on them. The sun is starting to rise, and things are starting to look bad for our heroes when... So the Cyclops makes his way up through the blaster fire like a boss and holds a door open long enough for the others to get in. Unfortunately, he's not so lucky. Just then the suns rise and... they proceed into the fortress when... Did they just kill Liam Neeson? Dude, not cool. Well, does he at least get a few parting words before he dies?
He is the chosen one. He will bring balance. Train him.
Meh, it's not the worst thing he could have said. Colwyn and the others make their way to the chamber where Lissa is held. Alright, finally, we're gonna see the glaive in action. This is gonna be awesome. Really? That's it? All that build-up and that's what we get? Anyway, he breaks through and reunites with Lissa and prepares to fight the beast.
Not here, Colwyn. He's too powerful. You must fight him away from the center.
So he draws him from the center by dropping the rocks on him. Guess that's one way to do it. Colwyn finally faces off with the beast, and it looks like things aren't going too well for him. But he suddenly gains better control over the glaive and... unfortunately, the glaive gets stuck in the beast, and when Colwyn goes to retrieve it... everything seems lost until we get this sudden revelation.
The glaive is gone. I have no way to fight it.
Colwyn, it's not the glaive, it's you.
Alyssa, it's us. It's us he can't defeat. It will not return to me except from the hand of the woman I choose as my wife.
I give it only to the man whom I choose as my husband. Take the fire from my hand.
That's right, they defeat the evil monster with the power of love. Or to be a bit more precise, fire. Lots and lots of fire. With the beast being reduced to charcoal, the whole place begins to fall apart around them. Yeah, that's the standard protocol for villains. So they blast their way out, climb down, and make it out into a field just as the Black Fortress breaks apart and flies back into space. Everyone has a good laugh, and they all head home as the credits start to roll. And that was Krull. Final thoughts? The story is pretty standard fantasy fare. Princess gets kidnapped, and the dashing young prince has to mount a rescue mission to get her back. Personally, I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah, it's a bit cliche, but this movie does a decent job working with it. Also, it features an incredible score by James Horner. One thing that I think this movie does suffer from is pacing issues. There are a few scenes that go on a little too long, such as Colin's climb up the mountain and the escape from the crumbling Black Fortress. Some of the time spent on those scenes could have been used on something more useful like character development or maybe even a little more backstory. Another detail I take some issue with is that Lysette Anthony, who played Lissa, was dubbed over by an American actress. Then there's what's probably the biggest disappointment in this movie, the glaive. It's built up early on as this mighty weapon, but when it's finally used for the first time, they have it make a door. And when it is used against the big bad, it's short and it's lost early on, so it's not even used to kill the main villain. I mean, why make this out to be something important and not deliver a payoff? Despite all that, in the end, while it may not be a huge fantasy epic like a certain well-known series of films, Krull is a fun and entertaining movie and is definitely worth checking out. So that's all for this edition of Retrocognition. Until next time, I'm the Retcog, and thanks for watching.